Feeling uninspired and have no motivation to do anything at all? Then, you landed on the right channel. Welcome to Bulletproof Perspectives. We hope our insight will help you define your goals and sustain progress. Click subscribe and turn the bell notification on to never miss out on our latest videos. A sovereign state called an empire is made up of several areas, nationalities, or ethnic communities that are all under the control of the same person, generally an emperor or empress. With various empires forming and collapsing throughout the years, the idea of an empire has served a significant part in human history. Empires were frequently built by military conquest and expansion, and they had a significant impact on the lands they had taken over, frequently establishing their own economic, political, and cultural systems. Before, empires had a variety of functions. First off, since they offered a centralized governing body that could uphold law and order, empires were sometimes crucial in ensuring stability and peace across broad regions. As they developed trade and commerce throughout their various domains and frequently invested in infrastructure as well as other public projects, their empires also supported economic growth and development. Additionally, empires frequently played a role in the dissemination of culture and knowledge throughout various areas by facilitating the exchange of concepts, languages, and traditions. However, empires had downsides as well. Many empires were known for their harsh conquests and enslavement of other countries, which frequently resulted in great human misery and deaths. Furthermore, empires frequently had a highly centralized government with a limited governing class, which frequently resulted in inequalities in society and the economy. Finally, because of their vulnerability to both internal and external pressure, empires were frequently unsteady and susceptible to falling apart. Learn about the greatest empires of all time. Number 1. The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is frequently cited as one of history's greatest, and its legacy has had an impact on the contemporary world even now. The Roman Empire was a modest city-state when it was first established in 753 BC, but it eventually expanded to cover a great deal of the Middle East, Europe, and North Africa. The empire was one of the biggest in history when it was at its peak, occupying a region of 5 million square kilometers. The Roman Empire was renowned for its powerful military, including well-trained, disciplined soldiers that were capable of taking over new lands and upholding the rule of law across the empire. The empire was renowned for its technical accomplishments as well, including the building of aqueducts, highways, and iconic structures like the Pantheon and the Colosseum. Numerous Roman concepts and practices have continued to have an impact on Western society to this day. The Romans additionally made significant advances to art, philosophy, literature, and law. The Roman Empire had certain drawbacks, though. Its severe social hierarchy and governmental corruption led to its final decline and collapse, and its expansionist tactics frequently resulted to the ruthless invasion and subjugation of neighboring countries. The empire suffered various difficulties, including invasions from outside, internal strife, and financial instability, and it ultimately crumbled in the 5th century AD. Number 2. The Mongol Empire. The Mongol Empire, which spanned from Asia to Europe and covered a region of more than 24 million square kilometers, became one of the biggest empires in history. The Mongol Empire, which Genghis Khan established in the 12th century, was renowned for its ruthless military prowess and capacity to claim and unify many peoples and lands. The Mongols expanded the empire by military might under Genghis Khan's direction, conquering a large portion of Central Asia as well as portions of China and Russia. The Mongols were renowned for having highly developed military strategies and equipment, such as taking advantage of cavalry and archery. The Mongol Empire was distinguished by a remarkably liberal and cosmopolitan culture that promoted commerce and trade between other nations and peoples, in spite of its overwhelming military might. Additionally, the empire was in charge of distributing knowledge, innovation, and culture throughout its enormous realms. Especially significant achievements came from the fields of astronomy, medicine, and the arts. But there were downsides to the Mongol Empire as well. Millions of people were frequently subjected to its expansionist goals, which frequently led to the destruction of whole cities, and its leaders were infamous for their brutality and cruelty toward those who opposed them. The empire also had to deal with a number of difficulties, including its internal dispute, outside influences, and economic volatility, and in the 14th century it ultimately collapsed. Number 3. The British Empire. One of the biggest empires in history, the British Empire at its height controlled more than a quarter of the land area of the world. The British Empire, which was established in the 16th century, was based on trade and business, with British explorers and merchants founding colonies and trading stations all over the world. The British Empire was distinguished by a powerful army and navy that enabled it to maintain control over its regions and grow its influence throughout the world. The empire was renowned for its innovations to literature, art, science, and industry, as well as for its advancements in science and technology. However, in addition to its participation in several wars and conflicts, the British Empire was also distinguished by its exploitation and slavery of other people and civilizations. Its colonialism and imperialist practices frequently resulted in the exploitation and persecution of native peoples, and its attempts to impose British culture and ideals on other countries were frequently greeted with opposition and conflict. The empire finally started to fall apart in the 20th century as many of its colonies gained their independence, and the empire dealt with several difficulties like financial crises, political unrest, and pressures from other world powers. Number 4. The Persian Empire. With territory extending from what is now Iran to sections of Central Asia and the Mediterranean, the Persian Empire was one among the most powerful in antiquity. Cyrus the Great established the Persian Empire in the 6th century BC, which was renowned for its highly developed culture, cutting-edge infrastructure, and organized government. The Persian Empire governed a huge area with many languages, cultures, and traditions because it represented a multicultural and multi-ethnic civilization that valued variety and encouraged religious tolerance. The empire was renowned for its innovations in the arts, literature, and architecture, which included the creation of luxurious mansions and significant structures like the Persepolis. The Persian Empire was distinguished by its military victories and expansionist tactics, which frequently resulted in disputes and tensions with other countries and empires. The empire suffered various difficulties, including internal uprisings, economic instability, and foreign invasions. Ultimately, it fell apart and was subjugated by Alexander the Great's conquest troops in the 4th century BC. Number 5. The Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, which existed from the 13th century until its disintegration during World War I, stood as one of the most formidable empires of the modern age. The Ottoman Empire, which had its capital in Anatolia and was established by Osman Bey, eventually included a large portion of Western Asia, Southeast Europe, and North Africa. Christians, Muslims, and Jews coexisted peacefully under Ottoman control, demonstrating the Ottoman Empire's military superiority and capacity to lead a diverse and multicultural society. The empire was renowned for its advancements in science and technology, as well as its works of literature, art, and architecture. The Ottoman Empire had its problems, though. Its expansionist tactics frequently led to wars with other empires and countries, and its monarchs were infamous for using political strategy and firearms to hold onto power. The empire also had to contend with various difficulties, including chaos in politics, economic instability, and external pressure from other world powers, which ultimately contributed to its collapse and breakup in the beginning of the 20th century. These 5 empires collectively symbolize some of the strongest and most significant civilizations in history, influencing the entire world via their politics, culture, and legacies. We may learn much about the nature of humans, power, and the results of our actions from the history of these powerful empires. The empires overcame numerous obstacles while committing mistakes along the road, even though they reached immense success and did amazing attacks. The darker sides of these empires that include the application of violence, taking advantage of others, and imposition of their own desires on others, must also be acknowledged. We may move toward a more fair and equitable society that appreciates variety, collaboration, and respect for one another by recognizing and learning from these mistakes. The history of these mighty empires is a tribute to the problems and diversity of human civilization as a whole. We may better understand ourselves and our role in the world and try to create a better future for everyone by learning about their backgrounds and legacies. I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you ever feel burnt out, unproductive, or unmotivated again, just remember a shift in your perspective will make all the difference. Bulletproof Perspectives is always here to brighten your day. Stay bulletproof.